I'm just like so over everything. I'm scared that the world is going to shut down again because not enough people are getting vaccinated. And like, if my tour doesn't happen again, I'm actually moving to an island and never coming home. Like, I'm quitting.
Hi, I'm Holly Garrity, and for the latest in Enemies in Conversation series, I'm joined by Olivia O'Brien. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? My dog is barking in the background. Come here, Dexter. He gets really upset when I talk to other people. Come here, buddy. I just have to pet him while I'm doing this.
Oh,
So
it's he. What's his name?
Dexter.
Oh, hi, Dexter. So you've had a really exciting few months. Not only did you release the first part of your new album, Episode Season 1, but you also bought your new house.
I did, yeah.
Congratulations. Well, how do those
Thank you.
two achievements compare?
Well, it's definitely been interesting being a homeowner, because I've released lots of musical projects, but I've never bought a house before, so it's like a whole new territory navigating it. I'm lucky that I have my dad helping me out and helping me find, like, because you have to, like, I have a pool, so I have to find a pool guy and a gardener and like a person to come put blinds up, and like there's just so many like weird random problems. I don't have a landlord to call anymore to come fix stuff, which is crazy, but it's nice because I feel like I can do whatever I want, and I feel like um it's nice to know that I could stay here forever if I wanted to. I don't have like a lease or anything, so it's like kind of comforting feeling. I've really enjoyed it.
Amazing. And I'm sure it's all the more rewarding after, what was a really challenging last year for the music industry. So you were actually right about to do a show with people queuing up outside when you got the news that events were cancelled, didn't you? So, I mean, what was that like when you got that news?
It was really, really, I mean, it was heartbreaking because I I I fund my whole tour myself. So not only was I losing a bunch of money on the next shows, I also, like, there were people literally waiting outside, lined up. People had like driven hours to come to the show, and I had to go out and be like, "Oh, it's done. Like, there's no show." It was so just awful. But by the time that I actually found out that the rest of the tour had to be canceled, I kind of knew it was going to happen. Like the 2 days before, I was like calling my managers, like, "Oh my God, this is so scary. What's going to happen?" We had a lot of things planned for like the New York show. Someone was going to come do like a recording where it's like a special kind of recording where they get like the whole show and the whole thing. We were going to do it's going to be a whole moment. And then, yeah, so I was calling them like, "Dude, this isn't going to happen. Like, I'm so scared." And they're like, "No, it's fine. It's fine." But I just kind of already like coped with the idea that it was probably going to get canceled. So by the time it actually happened, I was like, "Well, here we are. I guess I'm going home." So it was just like, I think I was also a little bit in shock of like what was happening in the world. No one knew. I mean, I don't think anyone expected it to go on the way that it did for this long. Um, so I don't know. I think everyone was kind of just in shock.
Fingers crossed next year. One of the positives, though, to come out of the last year was your track Jocelyn went viral, was a massive hit. Did you expect it to have that kind of success, and did it help you through the pandemic at all?
I don't know if I expected it. I definitely love that song. I think it's one of my favorite songs that I created like during that time. Um, but it was really nice to see it do something. So then I felt like I wasn't just stuck and like plateauing and just doing nothing. Like I had a song to push, and I was, making my little TikToks, and it was fun. It was like something to kind of get me through. So I really appreciated that. And yeah, yeah. I think also that song was very personal to me. So when I put it out, I almost like didn't want to put it out because I was like, this is crazy. Like it just felt so personal to me because like everyone around me knew who it was about and what it was about. And so putting that out meant kind of like embarrassing myself a little bit to my friends. So I was like scared to do it. But once it came out, everyone, reacted really well to it. And I think, I mean, I obviously have no regrets with it. So yeah.
And one of the things that happened when that song came out, obviously everyone was asking who's the guy, who's Jocelyn, and lots of people kind of hating on Jocelyn, but you said people should be hating on the guy. Were you kind of surprised or upset by the fact that people were hating on the girl in this situation?
I mean, it's kind of like something that just happens these days, especially like when I'm putting a name of a girl in a song. Like, I just kind of did that for the like shock value of like putting a name in a song. But yeah, I tried to make it clear that it's not about the girl and that the song is like me talking to the guy and it's just about that. It's I used a name to be like, oh, like say someone cheats on you and you go to them, you're like, I know exactly what you did, and you give them names of like, it was this person at this time, like you have all the facts. Like that was kind of what it was about, like, oh, I know what you did kind of situation. So I just wanted to make that clear. I made like a little cartoon explaining it and posted it everywhere. So because I'm not the kind of person, like if someone ever did cheat on me, I wouldn't ever blame the girl. I mean, especially not if they didn't know. And also I wasn't in a relationship with this guy, which I said in the song. So it wasn't like that. And I have no hard feelings towards the girl that the song is about at all. Like I actually really love her. So
And this song went, pretty big on TikTok. And that's probably something quite new in your career that you're experiencing because you started when you were, 15, 16. Seeing the success that a song can have on TikTok, has that kind of influenced the way you write your songs now, in that this could be a TikTok hit?
absolutely not. I hate that that's becoming a part of the industry, but it definitely is. People like write songs just to think like, oh, well, this part could do this on TikTok. And like, it's great when songs do go viral on TikTok. I think it's an amazing tool for artists, but I just have always been the kind of person that wants everything to be organic and to be natural. And I know that's not always going to work. Like sometimes you have to, be gimmicky and do things for the intent of it, like blowing up in a certain way. But I just don't like doing that. It feels fake to me, and I always want to be authentic. So I just don't think I could ever bring myself to do that. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe one day.
So episode season 1 came out last month with 6 tracks. Why divide it into 2 parts?
I mean, there's kind of multiple reasons, but the most like obvious reason is that it's just easier to put out a shorter project because I don't have to finish every single song and make sure every single song is perfect and do visuals for every single thing. And the world still isn't quite back to normal, so I felt weird doing like a full album campaign with where I'm at right now. So yeah, and half the songs, I mean, more than half the songs were fully done by the time I put out the first half. And I knew what songs were going on the second half, but they just weren't fully done. And I didn't want to get tired of the songs that I've had for like a lot of these songs I had for like 2 years. So I didn't want to wait and wait and wait until everything was done and keep pushing it back and then not put it out and get over these songs. And then maybe I'd write more and then not put them out. And like, it's just a whole thing. That's why I don't like to really put out albums. Like I did my first album and I found myself like taking songs off that should have been on it that were really good because they didn't like fully fit with the concept, or I had just gotten over them by that point. And it was just too long. The process just dragged on for me. So that's why I started doing my micro mixtapes, I did like 2 or 3 song projects, and I was planning on doing more, but then obviously when everything happened with the pandemic, I think everyone's release plans changed and shifted a lot. So then I was just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do next, and this felt like a logical next step where it's kind of in between an album and like an EP. So yeah.
So you mentioned there that you would maybe pull tracks off of old records that didn't create like a cohesive piece of work, but obviously episodes is very incohesive in that there's so many different things going on. There's horror, love, drama, reality. How did you go about picking all of these episodes and then putting it together in a way that was kind of so incohesive but you owned it?
Well, yeah, that's another thing is like kind of the concept of the album is like I don't like to be put in a box. I don't like to only do one thing or feel like I only have to do one thing and make everything sound the same, because I like so many different things and I enjoy making so many different styles of music and writing about different types of things. So yeah, I just didn't want to like limit myself at all. I wanted to be able to put out all of the songs that I like, even if they sound super different. And so I just went through all of the songs that I have made in the past couple of years and just picked my favorites, regardless of whether or not they went well together. Like I just was like, these are the ones that I love the most and that I think are the best, and these are the ones I'm going to put out. And I just kind of put them in that order and was like, this works, this tells a story. And then on season 2, there's like each song has like a counterpart on the second half. So like the first one's like the scary song, so the other on the second half, the first one's also that, and then the second one's the sad song, and then on the second half it's also that, and then it's like the punk rocky song. So each one has its counterpart. So that's kind of where the cohesion comes in, I guess. But you won't be able to like see that until, you know, the second half is out.
Mm-hmm. And you posted a handwritten note to go with the release of the first part of the album, which said how you like to live your life like you're in a TV show or a movie. Other people would call that main character syndrome. Is that something that you live with day to day?
Yeah, I think life is just more fun that way. Like you're the only person experiencing your own reality. So you have to have fun with it and realize that nobody else is thinking about the world or sees the world the way that you do, which I think is really cool. So it's almost like you are in your own movie because no one else is experiencing life the way that you are. So yeah, and I just like to, because I write songs about my own life, things have to get interesting for me, so I have to make them interesting sometimes. So I try to do that, and then I end up, you know, attracting certain kinds of drama into my life, usually with relationships. But yeah, I just want to live my life like it's a movie and be interesting and make it fun for me. I want it to be a fun experience for everyone involved.
So as each of these experiences were happening, you know, more than 2 years ago, like you said, were you kind of in your head like, this is an episode in my life that I can write about?
I didn't come up with the concept until after most of the songs were written. But I always realized as I look back on music that I've written, I'll notice like, oh, this is a certain period in my life. Like this is it's such a like, it's like a time capsule. It's like, this is exactly what I was going through. And because all of my songs sound so different, like production wise, I'm like, okay, so at this time I was really inspired by Fleetwood Mac, or at this time I was really inspired by like pop punk, or whatever it is. You can just tell so much about what I was going through at that time, not only just from the lyrical content, but also just the way the song sounds, the way that I'm even singing sometimes. So I thought that was really cool because it's literally just like a view of snippet of time in my life, which is really cool.
And it feels like we get quite a bit of insight into lots of different parts of yourself in this album. And, you know, in Cool Mum in particular, there seems to be quite a bit of sadness and disillusionment with the Hollywood dream. Where did the idea for that come from? And was there ever a moment where you thought, oh, I really want to give this all up?
Yeah, I wrote that song like 2 years ago now. I think it was, yeah, like July of 2019 actually. And I was just, I mean, I've always kind of felt like ever since I moved to LA, it's like growing up is just really, it's scary. And I've been pretty much an adult since I was 16. So I feel like I missed out on a little bit of my childhood. You know, I got most of it. 16 isn't super young, but it's a little young to be, you know, like going to the club in LA and living by myself and paying for my whole life myself. Like it was crazy. I was a real adult at 16 years old. And I didn't get to, you know, go to prom and finish high school and all the things. I felt like I'd missed out on it. And I was like, I would give anything to just go back and be a kid again. But also I didn't even enjoy high school or any of that. So I feel like I kind of romanticize it in my head of like what it should have been like. And I feel like I missed out on something that probably doesn't even exist. So it's just a whole thing. And I felt like I also was trying really hard to fit in when I moved to LA and be like all the people that I met out here, they were like, a lot of them had like family money or like they'd been in the industry for a really long time. So they were like super wealthy and they had all of these like designer clothes and nice cars. And, you know, I was driving my little Honda. Like I didn't I was like, okay, so I have to be cool now. And then I would spend my money on like ridiculous designer things that I would wear once, and I just like wasn't happy, and it wasn't making me happy. So I just it was kind of just about that experience, and now things have changed a lot since then. But even at the time I was writing that song, I kind of already realized a lot of those things, but I was still kind of just growing and realizing that I don't need all of that, and that I'm still capable of being myself, and I still have a lot of growing up to do also. So it's not over yet.
Mm-hmm. And there's an absolute banger on part 1 of the album, No More Friends, with Oli Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon. How did this collab come about, and what did he bring to the track for you?
So when I wrote the song, I was like, this song needs a feature. It needs someone that can like actually just like kill it with the vocals and just like bring the energy that it needs. Like it was like almost there, but it didn't, it needed something. So I was talking to my team about like who we could have on it, and she's like friends with someone on their team, and she was like, I have the best idea. And it like, he was so excited about it. I don't think anyone has ever been that excited to do a feature for me, which is like just made me so happy, because he's like a literal legend, like an actual legend. So it was just so amazing. And he like right after he recorded it, he DM'd me on Instagram and was like, I can't get the song out of my head. Like, thank you for like making me or having me be a part of it. And yeah, it was crazy. It was like just an awesome experience, and he's just the best, so supportive. He posted so many times about it. Like I was just like, he's amazing.
And this is one of the more, you know, punky tracks on the album, and we're seeing a sort of revival of like a Gen Z pop punk at the moment, and this track definitely fits in there. So who would be your other dream collabs from that kind of world?
I mean, Avril Lavigne would be great. Like Hayley Williams from Paramore. I don't know. It's just cool to have a collaboration with someone that has like so much credibility in that world. Like it's because he's just so cool, you know? Like I don't know, it just made me feel way cooler than I actually am. So I don't know. I'd be down to collab with a lot of people.
And another track on the album, Sociopath, has an amazing horror film to go along with it, you know, influenced by things like Scream and Scary Movie, got your friends in it. How did the concept for that come about, and are you a big horror fan?
I'm actually not. Ironically. Yeah, I get really scared of horror movies, but I've always wanted to be in one. I don't really watch them that often, but my manager Max loves horror movies, like obsessed, and he helped my creative director. They basically wrote the whole video together, so he was really really excited. I was like, Max, you're gonna love this project. And he had like his manifestations like up for his goals for the next year. Was one of them was like direct a music video or like write a music video or something, or not a music video, a horror film. Sorry. He was like, I want to be a part of some kind of horror film. And I was like, this can be your horror film, even though it's only 3 minutes. It'll be fun. So we just kind of went off with it, and like we got like prosthetic head for Kelsey and like fake blood everywhere, and like I don't know, it was so fun to just make it. Like that's been a long term like dream and goal of mine to like be in a horror movie. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Obviously it's not a real horror movie, but it was so fun. And I was really lucky that my friends also wanted to do that and were down to like actually act and like do it and go for it. I wasn't sure if they would be, because like, you know, they're not like actors. It's not what they do. Well, some of them, but yeah, it was so fun. It was great to just like have them there.
You are a huge Amy Winehouse fan. You've got an iconic picture of her tattooed on your arm, and you just uploaded a beautiful cover of one of her songs for the 10th anniversary of her death. What impact did she have on you musically and growing up?
Well, when I was like young growing up, I feel like everyone in the media made Amy out to be like just something she wasn't. Like people were so mean to her. It's crazy. I think that if the media and the world had been nicer to her, maybe things would have gone differently. And that makes me so upset. But you know, I was a little kid. I didn't like, that's all I had heard was like, oh, Amy Winehouse is like just, you know, a lost cause, whatever. And then as I started getting older and like actually listening to her music, I think I was probably like 14 or 15 when I really got into her. And then the documentary came out. I don't know what year that was, but I watched the documentary and that was like it for me. I already like loved her music, but that was when I really just fell in love with like Amy. Like she was so, first of all, so misunderstood and just so talented and before her time. Like nobody did anything remotely, and to this day nobody can do anything remotely like close to what she did. Her voice is insane, her writing is so unique, her melodies are like, nobody does that, nobody can do that. It's like, and they're like almost unexpected. Like when she sings something, I always think it's going one way and it goes another way. Like she just did whatever she wanted to do, said whatever she wanted to say, had no filter, which is like my favorite thing about her. And yeah, I just love everything about her. She's the best.
So going back to your first big hit, I Hate You, I Love You, which you wrote when you were 15 years old, how often do you meet people who don't actually realize that that is your song?
Yeah, a lot. It happens a lot, but usually when I tell them, like they'll be like, oh, I know that song, and like that's crazy. But a lot of people don't know that it's me until I say something. Or they'll like, I'll like be friends with someone and later on they'll figure it out and be like, wait, that's you. Like that's crazy. They'll send it to me and be like, wait, is this you? So but it's cool because I feel like when people ask me what I do, I like have an answer for them. Like, oh, have you heard that one song? Like you probably heard it in an elevator somewhere or like on the radio in 2016. So it's cool to like have, you know, have a song that a lot of people know that they can like relate to something like and just know what I do. So,
and it's, you know, a really unique situation where someone's first big hit takes off the way it did, especially as it happened so kind of inadvertently for you, in that, you know, you didn't put it out there, like someone approached you. How, in terms of success, like how do you measure your success now? Do you look at that as the benchmark, or do you kind of see that as another life and, you know, a bit of a once in a lifetime kind of thing?
I mean, like I wouldn't have pursued music if that song didn't do what it did, because I was really insecure and I didn't post my songs. Like I posted covers, but I like wouldn't post my original songs. I was really nervous and scared and I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't really an artist. I would write songs on guitar or piano in my room, and I wasn't a producer. I didn't even know how to like record myself properly. I didn't know how to do anything, and I was not an artist really. Like I was just a little songwriter. So that kind of propelled me and gave me the start that I needed and the push that I needed, and helped solidify like the idea in my head that like I could do it and that people wanted to hear what I had to say and that I wasn't awful like I thought I was. So I think it was great. It was a great way to start. But I had to, after that song had come out, I had to figure everything out. I had to be like, okay, so what kind of music do I make? How do I'd never been in a writing session. I was like, how do I do that? How do I put out a song? What's cover art? What's any of this? Like, I don't know any, like I literally knew nothing about anything. So I had to get a whole team and start from the beginning. But it was nice because I started with a little bit of a platform and some credibility. So that was nice. It was cool. But it took me a while to like actually figure out what I wanted for myself as an artist and how to collaborate with other people and just how to be a recording artist and an actual writer that goes into sessions and doesn't just write in my room. And I had to learn about production and what I wanted and all of that stuff. So it was cool. I just think of it as a part of the journey, I guess.
What do you think you would be doing right now if I Hate You, I Love You didn't happen?
I would have just graduated college. I don't know where. I wanted to go to Harvard, but I don't know if, I mean, if I had stayed in school and kept up everything, I probably, yeah, I would have wanted to go to law school or become a psychologist, either one of those.
So another song of yours came out in the last year, but not one that you were singing on. So Dixie D'Amelio's Fuckboy is actually written by you. So how did it come about that you gave that song to her?
So Fuckboy was actually gonna be one of my singles like a few years ago. We had like we were gonna get a feature on it, and it was this whole thing, and I was really excited about it. And then it just kind of like took too long to happen. I wrote other songs I liked more, and we just started putting those out, and it just kind of got lost in the Dropbox folder. But I was like, I was looking through my old stuff, and I was like, there's a lot of good songs in here that just don't fit me anymore. Like I have my new thing that I'm doing, and I really like this, but I like these songs, and I want them to, like, they deserve to be out somewhere and exist somewhere. So I was like, who do I know that these songs could be cool for? So I just made a little Dropbox and DM'd Dixie, and I was like, hey, I have some songs that I think you might sound good on, like, let me know if you want to cut any of them, like we can talk about it. And I sent her a Dropbox, and that was the one that she liked. And it was, yeah, she recorded it, and yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
How does it feel to see one of your creations doing well, but a lot of people obviously wouldn't know that you're involved and doesn't have your voice on it?
It's cool. It's like validating for me as like a songwriter to have a song that I wrote that someone else is singing. Like that's been a goal of mine for a while, just because I consider myself a songwriter above anything. I mean, lately I haven't been writing at all, but just that's something I've done my whole life, and it's probably what I'm the most proud of. So yeah, it's cool. It's validating. It's like just a goal I've had for a long time, and I want to do more of it for sure.
Have you been able to take Dixie under your wing at all and kind of show her the ropes with the music industry at all?
I mean, she has like the best team ever. She has like, her A&R is so sweet. She has her whole label situation. Her manager's great. Like she has everything that she needs. I don't think she needs any advice from me, but we do talk about that stuff sometimes. She's such a sweetheart. I really, really love her. Yeah, she's like, I remember before she filmed the music video, I saw her and she was like talking about how she was nervous, and I was like, no, don't be nervous. But that's pretty much the only advice I can give to her.
So you tweeted something the other day which was quite relatable. You said, I'm so close to quitting everything and fleeing the country to a remote location with a bunch of dogs. Where did that sentiment come from?
I'm just like so over everything. I'm scared that the world is going to shut down again because not enough people are getting vaccinated. And like, if my tour doesn't happen again, I'm actually moving to an island and never coming home. Like, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. So yeah, and I've just had like, my label is going through a transitional period right now. We don't have a label head, so like things just aren't like they're just not capable of getting things done the way that I would like them to get done. So we're kind of like, it's a waiting game right now. I just have to wait until everything gets figured out there. So I feel like I'm about to play Lollapalooza and play another show in Chicago, so that'll be really exciting. To feel like I'm, connecting with FanScan and like doing something, because right now I'm just like, okay, well, I can't put out music right now, and I'm the main thing is I'm so scared that my tour is gonna get canceled. Like I'm so terrified. I think about it every day. I'm like, if this happens, I will actually cry for a week.
I mean, fingers crossed it goes ahead. Any hints as to when we can expect part 2, or what kind of things we can actually expect, theme wise?
Well, I can't put out anything until the new head of my label starts working in January. So I don't know when it's going to come out. It was supposed to come out this summer, and then everything kind of just got a little messed up. So we'll see. I don't know as of now what's going to happen. So I'm just like trying to focus on performances and tour, and I might start a podcast. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was really excited for it to come out this summer, but it's just not going to happen. So we'll see.
What would the podcast be about?
Just like me talking about random things, because I like to talk, and I just want to talk. I feel like I have a lot of stories that people have never heard, just random thing. I'm not gonna like use anyone's names or anything, but like I just have a lot of crazy stories of things that have happened to me in LA and even before. And just I recorded the first demo episode and I just talk about like growing up and then like the full in-depth story of what happened with I Hate You, I Love You happening, and my first couple like months in LA and what that was like and all of that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just I just want to like rant about things.
Amazing. Well, I do hope it comes out. So as you mentioned, you've got Lollapalooza this week and you've got a bit of a festival run this summer, followed by, fingers crossed, your North American tour in November. What can fans expect on that tour?
It's definitely going to be different than my last few tours. It's more of like a show. Like before, I feel like I just kind of go on stage and just do whatever I want. Like, and I always say it's not an Olivia O'Brien show if I do everything right. Like I have to mess up something at least once, probably twice, maybe 3 times. And I just like, just talk and vibe and whatever. It's not anything too crazy, but I'm gonna have more of like it's gonna be more of like me putting on a stupid show, but it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be good. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to like get creative and play with the ideas and the concept that we have for it. So
what kind of stuff goes wrong when you say that you always make mistakes?
I just always fuck up my own lyrics. Like I always forget something, which is and it's not usually the same song. Like I'll mess up a song that I've been singing since like 2017, like randomly, or it just something always happens. But it's become just like funny at this point because I just laugh. Like I don't really care that much. Like I think I don't think the fans care either. I think it's just like makes it more real because I don't want to go on stage and like be a robot and like I don't know. It's like we all just laugh. We're like, haha, of course that just happened.
Absolutely. Can the UK expect to visit anytime soon, COVID permitting?
I hope so. I want to. I think like international tours are just like harder to figure out right now with everything, but I've been wanting to do a UK and a Europe tour forever. So that's like next on the bucket list, on the list of things I want to do in the next couple of years for sure. And I know every time I announce a US tour, people are like, what about us over here? I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't like, and I can't control all of that stuff. Like it has to be right and it has to be possible. So as soon as it's possible, I'm going.
Amazing. Well, we certainly hope we see you soon. Thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely to chat to you, and best of luck with all the live shows, and looking forward to part 2 as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.